Now consider we are taking two features, x1 and x2. We may give 100 training samples or 1000 training samples. For every training sample, I am providing these two features, x1 and x2. So already we discussed about this z w transpose x plus b. This is like, because we have two features, we can express this z with two parameters, that is w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. This b is like theta naught, we discussed in the machine learning. Now by using this z, we are predicting the output as 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. This is what we are calling as a logistic function. That's why this regression is called as logistic regression. Now the predicted output is y cap. In order to make you convenient, I am representing that predicted output with the a. Why we are taking the logistic function 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z only for the prediction? Because the value of this function 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z always lies between 0 and 1. Remember, in the logistic regression, we have to make the decision either yes or no. If it is yes, it is 1. If it is no, it is 0. So we have chosen the function in such a way that whenever we are giving any input, that input features x1, if we substitute x1 and x2, and by taking the proper parameters w1 and w2 and b, by selection of proper parameters w1 and w2 and b, we can obtain the z and z. If I substitute the z in this logistic function, I get the value between 0 and 1. If the value is near to 1, then we are predicting it is S. If the value is 0, we are predicting then it is no. If we are giving a photo, we have to find whether the photo belongs to Abdul Kalam or not. Finally, if we are getting 1, means that photo is of Abdul Kalam. If we are getting 0, that means that photo does not belong to Abdul Kalam. So in this, we are using the logistic function to make this prediction. That's why we are calling this as a logistic regression. So the predicted output may not be the original output. Sometimes computer may not predict the output as original output. So we want to check whether the predicted output is exactly the original output or not. How we can check? That's why we are taking the loss function. This loss function, you can observe, we are taking only two quantities or two variables here. One is a, means the predicted output, and the second one is y, original output. So if the predicted output and original output are almost similar, then the loss function value becomes very small. So our task is to reduce this loss function. What happens if we reduce this loss function? If we reduce this loss function, then the predicted output will be similar to our original output. So computer is predicting the output exactly. So how to minimize this loss function? The minimization of this loss function depends on what parameters it is actually varying. Remember, the x value, the loss function, you see here, it is depending only on two parameters, so y and a. Am I right? So here we cannot change the original output. The original output is already fixed. Now we are checking what is a. What is this a? A is equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. So now this loss function is depending on a, means 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. So this loss function is depending on z. What is this z? W transpose x plus b. What is this x? Input features. we cannot change the input features because the input features we are giving, those are fixed. So we cannot change x1 and x1, x1 and x2. So what we can change? The w and b, means the parameters. So if we want to reduce this loss function, or if we want to minimize this loss function, then we have to make sure that we have to choose the proper values of w parameters, the proper values of w matrix and b, in such a way that we get the minimum value of the loss function. When we are getting the minimum value of the loss function, that is, the computer or the machine is predicting the output exactly. So because we have considered two features, now I am expressing this z by using two parameters, w1 and w2. So now this z will be w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. Why I have taken only w1 and w2? Because we have two features. If we have 100 features, then we can take w1, w2 and so on, w100, where this b is like theta naught we have learnt in the machine learning. By using this z, we are predicting the output, that is y cap. We are also representing that y cap using a. This y cap is 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. This is the logistic function. So the value of this is either in between 0 and 1. Now, after we have predicted, we are checking whether the predicted value is matching with the original output or not. How we can get that? By using the loss function. So the loss function, finally, it is a giving the relationship between our predicted value and the original value. So this sequence we are following is called forward propagation in the neural networks, because in the first step, because we have two features, we have considered two parameters. By using this, we calculated the z value. By using the z, we have predicted the output. Now, with the availability of predicted output, we are checking what is the loss function for a single training sample. So this is called forward propagation. It is like a wave is moving towards a wave forward propagating. That's why this is called forward propagation. So forward propagation is used to find the loss function for a single training sample. So this is our z and predicted output y cap, which is equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. I am representing this 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus omega transpose x plus b, and this is the loss function. So finally, we want to know how the loss function is being affected with respect to w1 and w2 and b. So we want to know what is dou L by dou W1 and dou L by dou W2 and also dou L by dou B. Why we require dou L by dou W1, dou L by dou W2 and dou L by dou B? Because that will be useful to us to find the minimum value of this loss function when we use the gradient descent. So first, in order to calculate the dou L by dou W1, we are checking the loss function. This is a step. Here the loss function is in the last black, but the W1 is in first black. So we are checking what are the different terms are there in the loss function. In the loss function only we have two terms. One is y and another one is a. You can observe this equation. In this equation only two terms are there, a and y. Now we are differentiating this loss function with respect to a. Why we are differentiating with respect to a? Because only a is variable, y is constant. Okay. So one step we have taken to the left side. And now we are checking what is a. A is equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. What is this z? So first you can observe e is constant exponential, only z is variable. We are differentiating this a with respect to z. So dou a by dou z. Next we are going to the next step. In the next step, what is z? Z is equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. Because I have considered two features, there are two parameters. So now I am differentiating dou z by dou w1. So this is like I am expressing dou L by dou W1 in the form of dou L by dou A by dou Z, and dou Z by dou W1. Why I am taking partial differentiation? Because this last function is depending on three variables. One is W1 and another one is W2 and B. But I want to differentiate. I want to know what is the change in this last function with respect to the changes of W1 only. That's why we have considered dou L by dou W1. Now, because I do not have the capability to find out the dou L by dou W1 directly, we are splitting this differentiation as we already studied in the calculus. This can be splitted as dou L by dou A by dou Z by dou W1. It appears like that. If we cancel this dou A and if we cancel dou Z, it appears like that it is remaining dou L by dou W1. But we should not use that cancellation, because this is not normal numerator and denominator fraction. Okay. And so now first we are finding the dou L by dou A. If I differentiate this with respect to A, we will get, because logarithm minus y log A, the differentiation of log A 1 by A. So the y log A differentiation is y by A. Similarly, we are using the second term 1 minus y log 1 minus A. If I differentiate log 1 minus A, then the differentiation is 1 minus A, and the differentiation of minus A is minus 1. So finally, the term that is with me is minus y by A plus 1 minus y by 1 minus A. This is the differentiation of dou L by dou A. Now I want to know what is the differentiation of A with respect to Z. So we are taking what is A? A is the logistic function 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus Z. We know whenever we are differentiating any function 1 by x, what is the differentiation of 1 by x? Minus 1 by x square. That's why I am taking minus 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z whole square, and the differentiation of e to the power minus z minus e to the power minus z. Finally, we got e to the power minus z by 1 plus e to the power minus z into 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. So this term is 1 minus a into a. You can check manually. It would be easy to you if you can do this on the paper. So now I am finally finding dou z by dou w1. Dou z by dou w1. What is the z value? Here we are taking the z is w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. So if I differentiate with respect to w1, its value is x1. So if I want to know what is dou L by dou W1, first I am checking what is dou L by dou A, and then dou A by dou Z, and then dou A by dou W1. This method of finding dou L by dou W1 is called back propagation. Similarly, if I want dou L by dou W2, again dou L by dou A by dou Z, and dou Z by dou W2. Similarly, if I want dou L by dou B, dou L by dou A first, and dou A by dou Z, and dou Z by dou B. This is how we proceed to calculate the partial differentiation of the loss function with respect to W1 and W2 and B. So the final terms, you see, you remember here one thing, the first two steps are common for whether we are differentiating with respect to W1 or W2 and Z. First step is dou L by dou A, and the second step is dou A by dou Z. This step is common. So I am calling this as dou L by dou Z. This dou L by dou Z step is constant in the whether we find with respect differentiation with respect to W1 or W2 and B. For the convenience, we can call this differentiation as dz. So I am calling this product of dou L by dou A into dou A by dou Z. For my convenience, I am calling this as dz. For my convenience, I am calling this as a dz. So you can now observe here. So dou L by dou W1, the final output is A minus Y into X1. I am calling A minus Y as dz. So this is dz into X1, and dou L by dou W2, dz into X2, dou L by dou by dz. Dou L by dou W1, for my convenience, I am calling this as a dW1, dW2, and dB. So what is dW1 means? The differentiation of the loss function, the partial differentiation of the loss function with respect to W1. What is dW2? The partial differentiation of the loss function with respect to W2. Now, in the gradient descent, we already know when we want to find the minimum of the function, we have to decrement a step by step. So here the equations will be updated as W1 is equal to W1 minus alpha. This alpha is the learning rate. This will tell what is the step we are taking, whether we want to take small step or big step. This dW1 gives the direction in which way I have to take the step. So this dW1 is dou L by dou W1, and similarly W2 is equal to W2 minus alpha dou L by dou W2. B is equal to B minus alpha dou L by dou B. This is how the W1 and W2 and B are updated in the gradient descent. So again we are revising. First we are taking the loss function. From the loss function, because it is depending on only two variables, we are differentiating with respect to A, and we are differentiating A with respect to Z, and we are differentiating Z with respect to W1 when we want to know what is dou L by dou W1. So this is how finally we got the loss function for a single training sample. We have only given that single training sample, but in reality we have many training samples, maybe 1,000 training samples or 1 lakh training samples. How to find the loss function for the remaining training samples? By using the same procedure. So we have to sum up all these loss functions. The summation of all these loss functions is called as cost function. We will discuss the cost function.